A lot of stuff these days are done online. I, for one, have been through a lot of online meetings and online classes. One thing that irritates me, though, is how the audio of a lot of online meetings and classes are not exactly the best. A lot of people just rely on their built-in microphones and their webcams, which works okay. It's just that it sounds like garbage.
This is the built-in audio of my Dell Latitude E6-320 laptop webcam that I use for work. It doesn't sound very good, does it? A lot of people are still using these webcam microphones for their video calls, which works in a pinch, but it does make them sound like they're talking through a really old phone.
If you're a teacher for online classes, which is pretty much my job at this point, you want to make sure that your students can at least hear some good audio from your microphone. Because if your audio is not as good as the students who love to stream on Twitch, then what is even the point? This is a quick and dirty guide for all of the school teachers, bosses, team leaders, and all of those people who talk a lot in online calls. This is a guide on how to deliver good audio for your fellow listeners. I will have timestamps of the video so you can skip to all the information that you need. But before you do the skipping, I want you to please focus on this segment first because this is important. First off, I'm not very active in the comments. I have lots of jobs to do in real life. So if you have any questions on this, please send me your questions on Twitter or my email, links down below. Also, you can support me on this channel by donating through many means, links down below. Second, if you're on your online conference calls, make sure that you select the right input and output. This is to make sure that you actually speak up on your proper microphone that you spend your money on rather than the cheap webcam audio that you start with. Another thing is, a lot of microphones these days have their own headphone jack that you can plug in your own headphones or earphones to monitor the audio that goes into the microphone. However, when you plug the microphone into the PC, suddenly the audio from your PC stops working. That's because your operating system will switch from your speakers into the headphone jack of this microphone as the output. If you're on Windows 10, you can switch into which speakers that you want to use by clicking on the sound icon and clicking on the name of the device. You should be able to switch into a different speaker or headphone easily. You can also right-click on the voice, click sound, and it will open up a window where you can rename all the devices that you use to input or output the audio. You can also find these settings on the older versions of Windows, but usually in the older Windows, you have to find this box right here to switch the audio. You switch the audio by right-clicking and selecting Set as Default Device, but that's just too exhausting. Here's the really handy app called Audio Switcher, which will do exactly that. It will switch the default audio into whatever it is that you set it. So if you're still on Windows 7 and you want this Windows 10 feature, just get this app. It's also compatible for Windows 10 if you want to use it. Now let's get into the upgrades. If you're on a really tight budget, don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, I got some options for you. If you bought a smartphone, sometimes they will come in with earphones. This is the one that came in with a lot of Samsung phones. You can tell because there's AKG on it and Samsung own AKG these days. And this is the one that usually came in with iPhones back in the day, or at least back when they still have headphone jacks. Nowadays, you can find these styles of earbuds, but they have a lightning connector at the end of it instead of the typical audio jack like this. Regardless, you can buy these separately for like $5 to $10 nowadays. Heck, you can buy any earphones in around that price. The thing about these earphones is that they have microphones on them. So you can hook this up to any phones or laptop with a headphone combo jack and have a pretty decent audio from it. Take a quick listen.
This is the audio of the microphone of the Samsung earphone. These Samsung earphones usually came in with your Samsung phones, but you can buy these separately for like $5 to $10. If you just want something cheap and with a mic that works, this is not bad at all. This is the audio of the microphone of the iPhone earbuds. This is the one that ends in a standard headphone jack, not the ones that ends in a lightning connector. Obviously, those cannot connect to the headphone jacks on your PC or laptop. But if you can find the ones that end in a headphone jack, these sound pretty good.
Before we go even further, I want to clarify that a lot of these earphones usually have 3 prongs on the plug. See? 3 prongs right there. If it has 3 prongs, it's called a TRRS cable, which in an earphone like this usually means that you can send audio to the device through a microphone and receive audio from your video calls or your PC. Usually, you connect these TRRS plugs to a combo jack. combo jack means that they will transmit and receive audio. So you plug this into your laptop or your PC or your phone. Usually phones these days, or at least the lower tier ones or the mid tier ones, they have a headphone jack. The higher tier ones don't, but they usually have only one jack right there. These are combo jacks, and you plug them in right there and they will pretty much do the job. However, there are some laptops and PCs that have two jacks on them. Input, which is usually colored red, and output, which is usually colored green. You want to plug in your microphone or your input into the red and the speaker or output into the green. The problem is these earphones only have one plug, so you plug it into the green jack to hear the audio, which works fine, but the green jack doesn't send the microphone into the PC. What you're gonna need in this case is a splitter like this. If it has two prongs, like these two, these are called TRRS cables. They only usually do one purpose. It's either input or output. So it has one female plug, which will accept TRRS jacks. There you go. And it splits into two TRRS plugs, which will serve as the output on this one and then the input for this one. So if you have a PC that receives two plugs or more and you want to split the audio and you want to make sure that the microphone is actually inputted correctly to the PC, then you need to get yourselves one of these splitters so that you can actually input these earphones into your PC. Now for the next section, we're going to be talking about headsets, and a lot of these headsets will usually end in naturally, this one ends in a TRRS plug, but a lot of times these headphones usually end up in two TRRS cables. One serves as the output and one serves as the input. But what if you have a combo jack, like say your phone? I mean, you can plug in this to the phone fine, but it will only transmit the audio from your phone into the headset and not the microphone of the headset into the phone, because this is a TRRS plug and it can only do output and input separately. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, you can grab yourselves one of these adapters for super cheap, and this adapter will combine both of those jacks, both of these TRRS jacks. Let me just plug in you see the headset, there should be a headset logo right there. Right, the headset logo, that means the output, you plug it in there, and then the microphone logo, you plug in the microphone. And now that these two are combined, you can plug this to pretty much any combo jacks you need. You can plug this into the microphone of your, you can plug this into the headphone jack of your phone, or you can plug this to the headphone combo jack of your PC. They will pretty much work just fine. This is also compatible with one of those cheap clip-on microphones, which will still be a significant upgrade than your webcam microphone. You can also grab yourselves a cheap USB sound card, and that will do the job as well. Now let's talk about headsets. This is another good way to upgrade the audio. Grab yourselves one of these gaming headsets or one of those cheap teleconferencing headsets or whatever, plugging the headset into the PC and you're pretty much good to go. I have the Logitech G331 gaming headset here, and let's test it out. This is the audio testing of the Logitech G331 gaming headset. I got this one for about $40. It's a pretty good gaming headset for the budget, and the microphone is decent enough. So if you want to improve your online video calls, this gaming headset will do the job. There are lots of options for headsets out there, and frankly speaking, any headset that costs more than $20 or $30 should do a much better job in giving you a better audio quality microphone than your webcam. By the way, if you have two audio inputs and output jacks on your headset and you only have one combo plug, consult my previous section on TRRS versus TRRS jacks on the solution for this. The next option, in my opinion, is a lot less of a hassle. You don't have to think about the adapters and all of that, and you can still get a significant upgrade. USB microphones. There are lots of USB microphones being sold these days, and you can find them for cheap and even less than $50. This is the Fifine K69B. This is the microphone that I use for hybrid classes, and I bought this for like $40 at the time. Incredibly cheap microphone and delivers an amazing value for the price. This is the audio of the Fifine K69B microphone. You can use this not just for online video calls, but also to actually make content on the internet. There are lots of USB microphones out there online, and if you ask me, any USB microphone that costs around $40 to $50 is a significant upgrade over the webcam mic. But if you want specific recommendations, here are my top picks for USB microphones that I highly recommend you guys to get. The Samsung USB microphones are insanely amazing, and I highly recommend them. The first one that I recommend is the Samsung Go. This is not just an incredibly compact microphone, but it's an amazing sounding one too. The Samsung Meteor is also an amazing value microphone. It's super compact and portable and sounds amazing as well. This is the audio testing of the Samsung Meteor. I've been using this microphone for quite a while when I was starting YouTube, and I've been switching back and forth ever since. It's super compact and portable, and I highly recommend it. By the way, I removed the legs for these ones. It has a 5/8 inch hole here that you can screw to a lot of boom arms and mic stands, so the legs aren't really that much of a loss for me. This is your typical microphone stand. You can just usually find these for cheap. You can just screw this in. There you go. A bit of a new leg for the Samsung Meteor. So if I want to use this for like calls or whatever, I could just use this. The Samsung Q2U is straight up the best value dynamic USB microphones that you can get. This is a dynamic microphone, which unlike condenser microphones like the Fifine or the Meteor or the Go, this deals with background noise so much better. I do recommend this for podcasts, especially if you're living in a noisy environment. My brother actually used this for a couple of episodes of my APB show, channel link down below. All the links to the microphones are in the description down below. This is the audio testing of one of my daily driver microphones at one point in time, the Samsung Q2U. This is a dynamic microphone, which is great to be used if you have a lot of background noise. It's amazing to be used for podcasting, so definitely go check this one out. A couple of alternatives to the Q2U are the Audio-Technica ATR2100, ATR2100X, and AT2005. These are all pretty much the same, and they all have not just a USB, that's a mini USB plug there, but also an XLR plug and also a headphone jack there. So you can plug this microphone into an XLR cable and put it on a mixer. You can reuse this on stage. Cool. Some gaming companies also make really good budget-oriented USB mics, like the Razer Siren Mini. That one is an excellent value. HyperX Solocast, which is also a great value microphone. Now, as I said in my warning, some USB microphones have a headphone jack port, which means that when you plug it into your PC, it will automatically switch into that jack as your main audio output, which will cause no audio to come out of your speakers, which will make you think that you have killed your speakers or something. Consult my Did You Kill Your Speaker section in how to switch your default audio devices. But what if you want to take it to the next level? What if you want to use proper XLR microphones instead of the pleb USB ones? Or maybe you're just really bored of USB microphones and want to take a little bit of dive into XLR microphones. Or maybe you want a streamer setup like mine for your Zoom meetings and calls. It's pretty overkill, but don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, I have a guide for you here. If you want to connect your XLR microphones to the PC, you're gonna need an audio interface. This is the Behringer UMC202 HD. This is the interface that my school uses for their radios and podcasts. It has two XLR plugs for your microphones, and the back of it is a USB Type B, which is most commonly used for printers. And you can connect the interface to the PC. The interface that I'm using right now to record everything is the Rode AI1 audio interface. It has Type C, and I love Type C. But if you're aiming for something more budget-friendly, the Behringer UMC22 or the M-Audio M-Track Solo are great budget-friendly audio interfaces. The microphone that I'm using right now is the Shure SM57. I know it looks a little weird, but that's because this is actually an instrument microphone. That said, this microphone can sound really good on the voice, and it can even replicate the sound of a Shure SM7B, which is the microphone that every streamer in the world buys these days, and they cost like 4 times of this one. You don't have to buy that when you can just buy this one or the Shure SM58 for a quarter of the price and still get a similar audio vibe. The thing is, this microphone is very susceptible to popping noises, so if I say, "Please bring pizza pronto," you will hear that very noticeable pops that will come when you speak the P's and the B's. My way of mitigating this is to buy myself a pop filter or a windscreen. You can buy Shure's official windscreen for the microphone like the A2WS or the super beefy A81WS that is used in the White House. But this is a much cheaper solution in my opinion. You can get yourselves one of these cheap microphone foams, you can get these for like $2 on a nearby music store, right? And if you try to fit this into a microphone like the Samsung Q2U, which is a dynamic microphone, it fits pretty well. It should cut off a bit of a higher frequencies, and it will also reduce the popping noises that came into the microphone. But if you try to use a normal microphone windscreen on the Shure SM57, as you can see, it's super loose. I mean, you can do it. It will deal with the plosives okay. Like, please bring pizza pronto, please bring pizza pronto. Please bring pizza pronto, please bring pizza pronto. Yeah, it will deal all of that just fine, but it's very loose. Very, very loose. If you want to make it super tight, you can actually grab 2 of these windscreens and you put one inside another. So let me just do it here super quick. So just try to force jam one of the windscreens into another windscreen. You buy 2 of these. Oh boy, this looks so weird. There you go. So I have jammed the the 2 windscreens into one another. Now this will actually create a much tighter hole so that the Shure SM57 can fit really well. So let me just fit this in. This will fit much tighter and much better, a little bit nicer. And there you go. So all you need to do is just to fit in 2 microphone windscreens and boom, it creates a much darker tone for the microphone, and it also quietens it just a little bit so that it doesn't sound too bright, and it kind of reminds me of the tone of the Shure SM7B. So if I want to record instruments, I can just remove the pop filter, but if I want to record the voice, I put it back. Super flexible and super easy. Now that's my personal preference for a dynamic microphone, but there are lots of XLR microphones out there. If you're confused on which one to pick, I recommend checking out this video by Bandrew from Podcast Stage on the best podcast microphone. Check out Bandrew's channel in general, he's amazing. And there you have it. These are the ways for you to upgrade your video conference audios for cheap. You don't need anything super fancy, you don't need anything super expensive. A lot of these things can be accomplished if you're willing to spend just a couple of bucks. You can buy earphones like these for like $5 or even $10 or sometimes even $20 these days, and they are a significant upgrade from your webcam audio. Headsets are also really good options. You can find some super cheap ones. These adapters are also really cheap if you have issues with plugging any of them. Just make sure you get the right ones. USB microphones are getting cheaper and better, and they're a significant upgrade to your webcam mic. And if you want an overkill setup, XLR is an option as well. That's all for the video today. If you like it, you can go ahead and click the like button and subscribe for more. If you wish, you can support me through PayPal, Patreon, Subscribe Star, whatever, links down below. And thanks for watching.